The station with the best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
This is High Power 102.7 FM.
The time is 7 o'clock. Good evening. Here is iPower 102.7 FM News at 7. I am Akin Adebayo. First, the headlines. Ondo praises Ayedatiwa. Federal government set to review tariff policies. On the foreign scene, Sudan government returns to Khartoum. And in sports, Confederation of African Football probes players' misconduct. Details of this and more in a moment. Please stay tuned. Now the news in details, starting from the home front. As Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa turns 61, members of the Ondo State Executive Council have celebrated him, describing the governor as a visionary leader whose administration has continued to drive development, stability, and innovation across the state. In the congratulatory message issued to mark the governor's birthday, the council praised Ayedatiwa's unwavering commitment to good governance, infrastructural development, urban renewal, and security of lives and properties. The council noted that since assuming office, the governor's leadership has inspired renewed hope and progresses, positioning Ondo State on the path of sustainable growth and prosperity. The message averred that the governor's dedication to public service and inclusive governance has earned administration within and beyond the state, while its policies and programs have continued to positively impact communities across all sectors. Lawmakers of the Rivers State House of Assembly have alleged that they have uncovered a plot by certain individuals linked to the executive arms of the government to obtain a court order preventing the legislature from performing its functions. This is as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, ended his tour of the 23 local government areas of the state. The chairman of the House Committee on Information, Petition and Complaints, Dr. Eneme George, said the alleged plot involved securing an ex parte order from a Rivers State High Court operating outside Port Harcourt, the state capital. It could be recalled that the lawmakers led by the Speaker, Martins Amaule, formally commenced impeachment proceedings against the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. Meanwhile, the Rivers State Police Command has invited the former secretary to the state government, Tammy Danagogo, for questioning over an alleged plot to assassinate the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The police invited Danagogo following a leaked phone conversation with an arrested suspect, although the police invitation later cited by newsmen did not indicate reason for the invitation. But report says Danagogo and Pastor Tombari are talking about the plot to invite Israelis to come and kill the minister. The federal government has commenced strategic review of the tariff policies to encourage local production, protect domestic industries, and ease the cost of doing business. This followed a high-level meeting with the Tariff Review Board and the Minister of State of Finance, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anete, where existing tariff regimes were weighed against the backdrop of the rising production costs and the foreign exchange pressures. Discussion focused on meeting with the Tariff Review Board and the Minister of State of Finance, Dr. Kozike, where existing tariff regime they are weighed against the backdrop of rising production costs and foreign exchange pressure. Discussion focused on supporting the federal government's industrialization agenda, addressing challenges faced by local manufacturers and ensuring a balanced approach that facilitates essential imports while strengthening Nigeria's local value chain. Uzoka Anete maintained that the move is part of the government's strategy to boost industrial growth and enhance economic competitiveness, and emphasized that the government's commitment to data-driven policy making and reforms aimed at building a more resilient, competitive, and inclusive Nigerian economy. This news at 7 is coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM in Mrele Owo. On the foreign scene, Sudan government returns to Khartoum, and in sport, Confederation of African Football pro players misconduct.
Whether you're tuning in for breaking news, in-depth analysis, or community updates, High Power 102.7 FM remains your most trusted source. Because when it comes to news, the truth matters. High Power FM 102.7.
Welcome back. And to the foreign scene. As Sudan crosses the symbolic mark of 1,000 days of civil war, the country's prime minister has announced the official return of the government to the capital, Khartoum. The government was forced to flee Khartoum, Port Sudan, in April 2023 after the city fell to the paramilitary Rapid Response Forces. Over nearly 2 years of intense fighting, forces loyal to Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan gradually retook the capital, neighborhood by neighborhood, announcing its liberation in March 2025. Appointed Prime Minister 2 months later, Kamel Idris now promises a restoration of public services, including the rebuilding of hospitals, schools, water system, electricity, and sanitation networks. The goal is to revive a city whose infrastructure has been devastated by the war. Still on the foreign scene, Iran's government has said that U.S. President Donald Trump's warning against Iran of military action should protests turn bloody motivated terrorists to target protesters and security forces in order to invite foreign intervention. Trump has repeatedly threatened to intervene in Iran, warning he has the U.S. military studies that the situation while his administration is on contact with Iranian opposition leaders. Iran's government declares 3 days of national mourning for the martyrs killed in 2 weeks of protests, including members of security forces. And in sport, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has launched an investigation into alleged misconduct by players and officials during the CAF African Cup of Nations 2025 quarter-final clashes between Cameroon and Morocco, as well as Algeria and Nigeria. The probe follows report of confrontation with referees and disruption in post-match areas. Report says the Continental Football Governing Body has collected match reports and videos evidences suggesting potential unacceptable behavior and has referred the matter to the disciplinary board for further review. In the quarter-final fixture over the weekend, Nigeria secured a 2-0 victory over Algeria in Marrakesh, with goals from star striker Victor Osimhen and forward Akor Adams propelling the Super Eagles into the semi-final. However, the match ended in chaos as Algerian players confronted match officials on the pitch, leading to scuffles and an attempted pitch invasion by fans that was thwarted by stadium securities. To end the High Power 102.7 News by 7, let us take another look at the main point. We told you in the course of the bulletin that as Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa turned 61, members of the Ondo State Executive Council have celebrated him, describing him as a visionary leader whose administration has continued to drive development, stability, and innovation across the states. We also informed you that lawmakers of Rivers State House of Assembly have alleged that they have uncovered a plot by certain individuals linked to the executive arm of the state government to obtain a court order preventing the legislatures from performing its functions. On the following scene, as Sudanese crosses the symbolic mark of 1,000 days of civil war, the country's prime minister has announced the official return of government to the capital, Khartoum. And in sports, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has launched an investigation into alleged misconduct by players and officials during the CAF African Cup of Nations 2025 quarterfinals, clashes between Cameroon and Morocco, as well as Algeria and Nigeria. And that was the iPower 102 News at 7, edited by Oluke Najibola. I am Akin Adebayo.